Morning. Morning. Today it's 9 o'clock, so I must be going live on social media. It seems to be the way I'm doing things at the moment. Anyway, today, following on from yesterday, talking about the Advanced Teacher Training course, which is the 300 hour, which has been growing, gestating for about 4 years, and was finally going to go ahead last year, but COVID sent a bit of minxy energy into that mix, and it is happening this year, although it's not really looking the same as it was originally intended to be. However, it's going ahead and it starts on Saturday, but it's got this huge, amazing mix of modules and courses. You can choose to do the entire journey of the 300 hour, which is designed to take you through this 10-month journey, where you're really mentored all the way through. And it's, you have these modules that other people can join in, but you're really held in the space. We have this inaugural weekend coming up this Saturday and Sunday, and then you're mentored twice a month by myself and Leela throughout that training, and then the other modules add on. So if you want to do the whole journey, it is literally a journey in your life. It's going to have a start, a middle, and a finish, and it's going to take you to the next level of your yoga teaching. And as I said yesterday, what we need right now is yoga teachers to step up and actually teach the tools that are going to help us heal globally from our collective trauma, and also just move yoga out of this kind of where it's become very body based, in the fitness industry. There's nothing wrong with keeping fit, but yoga's got so many more tools which can help right now and are proved to help, in terms of stress reduction and autoimmune and nervous system regulation. So we need to bring yoga in that direction, which accessible yoga and spiritual development simply do. So you can either do that, or there's many modules that you're welcome to join as a yoga teacher. Some of them are actually open to yoga practitioners. So they're all on my website, stephanieshanti.com, with an amazing group of faculty teachers. So today I thought I'd introduce you to some of the faculty. So today and tomorrow. So today I'll introduce you to myself as the lead teacher and the creator of this program, and Lila Lolling, who co-teaches and is walking alongside us all the way through the 10 months. And then tomorrow I'll introduce you to some of these amazing visiting teachers who have global operations going on, and are just incredible, and they've agreed to be a part of this because they see too that this is a need. So tomorrow I'll tell you about Uma Dinsmore Tooley, who's joining to do the Yoni Shakti yoga therapy immersion and the yoga nidra immersion, which are both part of the course. Another Uma, because it's a spiritual name meaning mother, Alessandra Cocci from Teramo, who actually lives 20 minutes from Shanti Centre, we didn't even know when we planned this, who is the European teacher of the official accessible yoga organization. So she's coming to run the official accessible yoga course. Plus we have Jyoti, Joe Manuel, who is leading the special yoga weekend. And then we have Theo Wildcroft, who's leading the ethics day and the post lineage yoga module. And then we have a workshop with Shivani Mata Francis, who is doing our Bhakti yoga workshop, and we have a yoga for cancer workshop with Morven Hamilton, who runs Yoga by Nature UK. So tomorrow I'll tell you all about them, and today I thought I'd introduce you to myself as the key teacher and the person that put this together, or person through whom this came, and Lila Lolling, who's my wingman, and we work together on the 200-hour teacher training as well. So I am Stephanie Shanti. I trained as a yoga teacher in the year 2000, and it was very interesting because tonight we start the Transform and Inspire Chakra Journey, which I run every year through autumn winter. And I was on a chakra journey, my first ever chakra journey, in the year 2000. 2000 when my life was kind of going a bit wrong, and it was just a bit confusing, really. And there were lots of elements that were just a little bit wrong, a little bit off. And I was on my chakra journey, and it became clear to me that I had to train to be a yoga teacher during that time. And anyway, it was coming. Actually, I trained the month that I was doing my third eye chakra, the 6th month. I was doing my yoga teacher training in Canada. So I trained with the Shivananda organization in Canada, in the headquarters, in their main ashram in Valmarin in Quebec, which is absolutely stunning. Anyway, and I was 24 and young and fit, and never had any problems with my body. I absolutely loved the training, and I traveled. I didn't have any money to do this training, and I didn't know what I was doing. And before that, I kind of had in my mind I wanted to do the yoga training, and I'd looked at a few things. And then finally, I had this rent that I was renting this property, and the property basically ran out on the 1st of July, and this course in Canada started on the 2nd of July. So that was kind of a sign like, okay, well, I could move there and do my training. And the second part about it was that then my grandmother died during this process and left me more or less to the £5, the price of the yoga teacher training. So that decided to it for me that I had to go and do that training. And I'd love to say that my grandmother would have loved for me to go into yoga, but she was a very old-fashioned, old-school Cockney gran, and she would have said, "What do you want to go there for? Oh, that old place. What do you want to go there for? Yoga?" So she would have probably had a little giggle instead of thinking, yes, that's where I want my money to go. So anyway, I trained there and started teaching yoga straight away. And it was a very different yoga environment then. There weren't many yoga classes. There weren't many yoga teachers. And it was still, I'd say, the yoga I was practicing was still very sort of spiritual based. It was still for all people. It was still very much about stress reduction. And over my teaching career, I have seen the change, and I can almost map it in some ways for my view from what I was watching to the change when I remember Jerry Halliwell started doing yoga and Madonna started doing yoga. And I mean, really for me, I saw Jerry Halliwell just coming back as this very stick thin, super fit thing, and, putting it all down to her yoga practice. And then it just went crazy. I want a bum like that. I want to lose weight like that. That's what the yoga you do, and it's really gymnastic and it's really cool, and it's like, we'll take yoga to the next level. And here we are on the next level, and it's working out for some of us, but anyone who's had any problems with their body is gonna have a few problems down the line if the physical practice is only their way. So I was more lucky because shortly after doing my yoga training, I fell off a mountain and nearly died, breaking my entire body and having a good 10 years of recovery, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, from that, having all my hopes and dreams shattered, and learning how to deal with a broken body and learning how to heal through yoga, and just having to explore the other options in the yoga world when physical practice just wasn't available to me. And that's when my career really took off, really. I started being able to empathize. I think broken yoga teachers are the best yoga teachers, really, because they can understand. And, I think people with broken bodies, in a way, can understand, elements of yoga that able-bodied people perhaps may struggle to understand and empathize with. So I was able to kind of take my yoga teaching in a much more therapeutic way. I also trained as a massage therapist shortly after doing my yoga training and before I fell off the mountain and broke my body. So I'd started kind of seeing people therapeutically and mapping, what I was feeling under my hands in a massage sense to the, the way that the massage can actually bring relaxation and rest to certain muscles that are overworking. And the yoga, the physical element of the yoga, can bring stretch and strength to the muscles that are not working enough. So I'm seeing that balance, the yin and yang, under my hands and in my yoga, physical yoga practice, teaching practice. And I was also being able to kind of see that people come for massages when they're at the end of their tether. They're very stressed, although they want some relaxation in their muscles. They also really need some stress reduction in their mind. So I had lots of people coming with insomnia and, emotional stress problems. I was able to then, offer them tools of the breathing practices, the deep relaxation practices and meditation practices to kind of, add that other element. And the main thing as well was just bringing the philosophy into life. So my students were always given these tips for life, and I was living those tips for life. My life wasn't easy, and I kept having real big challenges in throughout my life, which I had to deal with, and I feel like the tools of philosophy, and especially personally from the chakra view, from the chakra kind of framework, I was able to just face those challenges, and keep moving forward. So that's me. And then I've done lots and lots of other training. I now train massage. I got really into the anatomy, because although I was going down the spiritual route of yoga, and I kind of not lauding the physical practice over the other practices, and really bringing philosophy and, accessibility and inclusivity and pranayama and meditation and all those tools into my yoga classes, I found that I was attracting say more less able-bodied people to my classes. So I realized that actually I needed the anatomy knowledge to be able to support these people, and and enable them to move their bodies, move energy through their bodies without hurting them. So I then trained in anatomy and got really nerdy and geeky about anatomy and fascia now as well. So I'm an anatomy nerd. I teach anatomy, I teach massage, I teach deep tissue techniques, I teach myofascial techniques, I teach the yoga, and as I said, the chakras is my bag. So I also teach restorative yoga, and I teach yoga for cancer, and I teach chair yoga, so many other kind of offshoots from that, bringing all the accessibility in. So my role on this training is to guide you through the 10 months, just to be the facilitator so that you can get access to all these teachings. I'll be leading you through the inaugural retreat this weekend, using, basically it's going to be a lot of lovely practice and setting intentions and coming together and welcome each other to this long journey that we're doing together. And then you've got mentor meetings with me once a month, where we will practice restorative and chair yoga together, and talk about how you can incorporate these, because they're some of the most accessible ways of making your classes open to all people, is adding some restorative elements. This can be a restorative kind of alternative to a deeply physical pose which isn't accessible, or just changing the pose onto the chair. I think they're two of my most accessible tools that I use quite often, on the spur of the moment in a class, to kind of bring some accessibility. So I want to show you how easy it is once you get your head around the creativity involved in making yoga accessible. Those are my main two tools. So I'll be leading you through the mentor sessions with restorative and chair yoga. I'll also be leading the myofascial release training, which is open to everyone. We'll be looking at different the lines of fascia, and how we can use yoga props, yoga mats, and also tennis balls and myofascial release balls to kind of bring some release to the fascia, which will then support the yoga practice. What else am I running? I'm also running the chakra intensive, the subtle anatomy and chakra training. So this is along 2 weekends, which will help support you as yoga teachers to bring in more elements from this amazing transformative tradition. So this makes it more accessible as well, because I teach the Transform and Inspire class each year to people who are not necessarily yoga bods. They might simply be a little bit inquisitive and a bit open to spiritual kind of elements in their lives. They might really like meditation, but they've never practiced yoga in their lives. So it kind of like is another chance of kind of accessing some of this deep philosophy. So I give you ways of incorporating that in your teaching, and so that's the teacher training for the chakra system and the subtle anatomy. And then finally, I'm also running with Leela the teachers retreat, which is a prana intensive at Shanti Center in April, which will be a chance for you to do self-practice and guided practice, and just, as a yoga teacher, not learn anything for a bit, just actually practice yoga all week in this kind of space designated for yoga. Run like an ashram for that week, where you're just living, breathing, practicing yoga. And it doesn't mean that that's going to be full on yoga. That will be whatever the yoga is in the moment, you know, completely accessible to you, to your standard at that in that moment. So nothing to worry about there, like, oh my god, practicing hardcore yoga for a week. It's not going to be like that. Yoga we see as a state of mind. You know, it's the state of yoga that we are trying to bring ourselves to when we practice yoga. So that's my part. And then I'll introduce you to Lila Lolling, who has written a book, Walking the Ancient Path of Yoga. I met her on my first yoga training. She had done her yoga training too and was working as staff on the ashram. And oh my God, we hit it off straight away. We were these goofy, stupid, giggly people that they must have just thought, oh my God, who are these people? We work together in the boutique, which is a shop. It's like a gift shop, but it's called a boutique. And she was running the boutique. We just got to work together and hang out together. And she was also teaching there as well on the ashram. Now, she worked for the organization for a long time and was kind of helping them facilitate their trainings and advanced trainings. And as such, absorbed so much philosophy that she is now like a philosophy expert. Her website is yogawisdoms.com. She's also an avid speaker and activist for the earth, and has another organization called Eco Yoga Life, because she kind of rightly pointed out about how many people practice yoga, and if yoga is supposed to be kind of bringing us in union with the earth, the world, the higher, the lower self, if there are so many people practicing yoga that they've done these studies that so many, Yoga Journal did a big interview about how many people are practicing yoga, then shouldn't the world be in a better shape? If we're really practicing yoga, yoga and ecology should go hand in hand, really, and sort of bringing back a bit of the eco activism into the practice, very much about taking yoga off your mat, which is what we're all about really in this line of work. So she is also co-hosting this inaugural retreat weekend, introducing the concepts of the philosophy, and her book is going to be kind of our course book that we work through. And she's also running the philosophy teacher training, which is open to other people. She's also running the stress and nervous system training as part of her mentor program through the 10 months. And then also she'll be co-hosting the teachers retreat at Shanti Centre in April next year. Actually, it's in May, I think, beginning of May. So we are your two main go-tos for this ATTC. And so we start on Saturday morning will be my part. I will be just welcoming you in. We'll be setting some intentions. We'll be talking about how the course works, what to expect. And then we'll be practicing some myofascial release and just seeing how, just seeing how it feels and how this might kind of give you some ideas. We'll be practicing meditation and pranayama together just to kind of center and focus for this journey ahead. So not all of this course is like heavy learning. A lot of it is stripping back that stuff, because to make yoga more accessible, we need to have a beginner's mind. We need to really go back to that kind of the essence of yoga. And a lot of that is much more simple than we make it out to be. So I'm not saying it's a really simplistic course. I'm saying that you don't have to worry that it's going to be so intense and so much expected of you, because I think we put that on yoga to make ourselves feel like it's worthy. I think a lot of this heavy, yoga intensive study is simply excess a lot of ways. I mean, there are complicated things. We do have to learn, the anatomy. We do have to learn some Sanskrit, and then we have to learn Latin names for anatomy on top, and then we do have to learn these new systems. But really, when you translate that back into your teaching practice, it's simplicity you want. It's the beginner's mind. It's just making this stuff accessible to the person in front of you. So anyway, that's it. Tomorrow I will talk about the faculty of the visiting teachers who just are amazing and doing a lot of work globally right now. So I wanted to invite them and they said yes. So I'm extremely happy and honoured that they'd be part of it. So tomorrow I will tell you about this, and also I'll put a playlist. I did some interviews with them on Instagram, so I'll put a playlist on YouTube of all of the faculty that I've done interviews with anyway. Not all of them have had chance yet. And I'll see you tomorrow. And don't forget, you can comment here, you can ask me questions, and hopefully I'll see you Saturday. Take care. Bye.